The decision to learn American Sign Language was born from a place of love, or so I thought. My fiancé, Julian, had a deaf mother, Eleanor. Over 2 years of dating, our communication with her was warm but limited, full of smiles, exaggerated gestures, and Julian's patient translation. "She's so happy for us," he'd say after her rapid, graceful hand movements. "She thinks you're perfect." I wanted more. I wanted to tell her myself how much her son meant to me, to share inside jokes, to truly welcome her into our new family without her son as a permanent interpreter. So, 6 months before the wedding, I began secret lessons. It was my surprise gift for Eleanor, for Julian, for our future. I practiced relentlessly. My teacher, a kind, no-nonsense woman named Gail, praised my quick grasp. "You're a natural, Chloe. Your fiancé and his mother are lucky." The wedding was a week away. The rehearsal dinner was at the country club, a soft-focused dream of candlelight and peonies. Eleanor looked elegant in lavender silk, her hands often still in her lap, her expression one of serene observation. Julian was the picture of a devoted son, constantly touching her shoulder, leaning down to speak near her ear, though she couldn't hear him. "She loves seeing everyone together," he whispered to me, squeezing my hand. "She's just taking it all in." I smiled, my secret humming beneath my skin. Tomorrow, at the wedding, I would sign my vows to her directly. I could hardly wait. During the toasts, I noticed Julian and Eleanor exchange a look. Then, as my father droned on about my childhood, I saw Julian's hand drop below the tablecloth. From my angle, partially obscured by a floral centerpiece, I saw his fingers move. It was subtle, practiced, meant to be hidden. My breath hitched. He was signing. My brain, now wired to recognize ASL, instinctively began to decode. It was furtive, quick. J, nervous. She suspects nothing. The signs were clear. He was talking about me. Eleanor's hand rested in her lap, her fingers moving a subtle reply. E, keep calm. 2 more days. Then the accounts are yours. The prenup is ironclad. Ice water flooded my veins. I stared at my champagne flute, my heart a frantic drum against my ribs. Accounts, prenup. Julian signed again, a sharp, swift motion. J, I can't stand her family, so bourgeois. Once the money hits, we're done with this charade. You'll have your villa in Nice. The world telescoped. The laughter, the clinking glasses, my father's proud voice, all of it faded into a roaring silence. Charade, money, done. Eleanor's reply was a single, slow sign, her face a mask of maternal concern for the benefit of the room. "Patience, my son. Play the loving groom. Don't ruin it now." I felt the blood drain from my face. This wasn't just a lie, it was a conspiracy. His mother wasn't just deaf, she was his co-conspirator. Their disability was a cloak, a perfect veil for private conversations held in plain sight, and I was the mark. The prenup. Julian had insisted on it, framed as protecting the family assets his father left. I'd signed, wanting to prove I wasn't after his money. I had my own successful interior design firm. I didn't need his. But the clause he'd fought for, that in the event of his infidelity or abuse, the financial penalty was minimal, now made sinister sense. He wasn't protecting himself from gold diggers. He was ensuring I had no recourse when he ended the marriage after securing what? My money? My family's money? My mind raced. My parents were comfortably upper middle class, but not villa in Nice wealthy. Then I remembered the substantial life insurance policy my grandfather had left me that matured next month, the one Julian had helpfully reminded me to update, making him the beneficiary, the one worth $5 million. This wasn't a marriage, it was an acquisition, and the closing date was the day after the wedding. I must have made a sound, a small, choked gasp. Julian's eyes snapped to me, instantly switching to a look of tender concern. "Darling, you're pale. Are you feeling all right?" His voice was the same honey-smooth tone that had won me over. He reached for my hand. I flinched. His concern deepened, perfectly manufactured. "Chloe?" I looked from his lying, handsome face to Eleanor's placid, deceptive one, the woman I wanted to welcome as my mother, the man I'd promised my life to. They thought their secret language made them invincible. They thought I was a pawn, moving predictably across the board towards checkmate. They had no idea I'd just learned to read the rulebook. I forced a wobbly smile, the greatest performance of my life. Just overwhelmed, all the love, it's a lot. I placed my hand in his, fighting the urge to recoil. I might step outside for some air. "Of course, my love." He kissed my forehead, his lips feeling like a brand of betrayal. "Don't be long." I walked out of the dining room, my legs trembling but steady. I passed the restroom and kept going, out a side door into the cool, dark gardens. I pulled out my phone, my hands shaking so badly I could barely type. I texted my brother, a corporate lawyer. "Me, emergency, need you to pull my prenup with Julian Reed, now, and dig into his financials. I think this is a setup." I texted my best friend, a private investigator. "Me, I need everything on Julian Reed and his mother, Eleanor. Focus on financials, medical records, especially regarding her deafness, and any connections to Nice, France." Then I called the one person I knew would be awake, my ASL teacher, Gail. "Gail, it's Chloe. I need to tell me, how common is it for a deaf person to also be an expert lip reader?" "Very common," Gail said. "Many deaf people rely on it alongside signing." "Why?" "If someone pretended to be profoundly deaf, relied solely on their son to interpret, but was actually an expert lip reader, would that be a believable cover?" A pause. "Chloe, what's going on? Would it be believable?" "Yes," she said slowly, "if they were careful never to react to sounds and had a translator to control the narrative, it could be a very powerful way to observe without being suspected of understanding. A perfect spy. A perfect spy. That's what Eleanor had been in my life for 2 years, observing, reporting, plotting." I ended the call and leaned against the cold stone wall, gulping the night air. The wedding was in 7 days. The dress was fitted, the guests were arriving, the deposits were paid. Julian and Eleanor thought they were playing a long con on a naive, loving woman. They were about to learn that the quietest person in the room often hears the most, and the greatest surprise at a wedding isn't always a good one. I walked back inside, my heart now a block of ice-cold resolve. The game wasn't over, they'd just shown me their hand, and I was about to reshuffle the entire deck.